This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi Yosef. So just want to share with you a brief few words about Pesach Sheni. It's actually my friend over here, Rabbi Schwartz. He brought me his son's sefer, Pischa Zeira. It's a whole sefer just on Pesach Sheni. So I don't know if there's anything that's not in the sefer. We'll try, Well, maybe we could find one or two things. Okay, so we know Pesach Sheni is in Parshas Behaloischa. And it's one of the rare instances where Moshe Rabbeinu was not aware of the halacha until an episode occurred, and in response to an episode, the Rebbeinu Shalom was megala to Moshe Rabbeinu Pesach Sheni. In fact, they bring down the Yeshiva in Yeshiva Chaim Berlin. Rav Hutner said over in the name of the Chachmei Emes. You hear this? Now, usually when Rav Hutner said over in the name of the Chachmei Emes, it was from Rav Kook. They call the Chachmei Emes, that the Gemara says in Megillah on Daf Gimel, Menatzbach Tzoifim Amram. The letters, the final letters, Menatzbach, Mem Nun, Tzadi, Pei, and Chaf, were said by the Nevi'im. Meaning the Nevi'im somehow restored the final letters. But Rav Hutner said over from the Chachmei Emes, that what does it mean, Menatzbach Tzoifim Amram? There are 5 teachings that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know, and he had to sort of bring through Nevuah in response to a certain episode. So what are there? You have the episode of the Mekoshesh. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what kind of misa does the Mekoshesh get. You have the episode of the Noikev Shem, this week's parasha. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what to do with the person who's Makalel. Then you have the Tzadi of the Benois, Slavchad. Moshe didn't know about the Yerusha of the daughters. The Pei is Pesach Sheni. And the Chaf is Kazui Basur. So the Chachmei Emes say, the Menatzbach Tzoifim Amram, we learned in Megillah, that it's referring to these 5 episodes that Moshe didn't know, but he had to say in response to Nevuah. So I just want to share with you one interesting thought from the Rameir Simcha of Dvinsk, the Meshech Chachma. Meshech Chachma says, who are these people who were tamei and could not bring Pesach Rishon? We know they were individuals who contracted tumah by being metapel with Arona Shel Yosef. Okay, so they have a very interesting taina. They say lama nigara. Why should we be less? Why should we be diminished? Which is half of a fellow. What do you mean? Why should be less? Because you're tamei. The Torah says that if you're tamei, you can't bring a carbon Pesach. So they became tamei. They had good intentions. Very good. I mean, let's say chas v'shalom, somebody doesn't have an arm. Do they have a taina? Lama nigara. I can't put on tefillin shel yad. Okay, we feel bad for you. We wish you could have been put it on. But unfortunately, God runs the world. Nobody ever said life is fair, and you can't do it. What if Chas v'Shalom a person was away for Sukkot? He could sit in the Sukkah a month later. There's no makeup for any mitzvah. All of a sudden, over here they come Lamani Gara. Okay, we feel bad for you. You're good people. You're an Oinus Rachmana Patre. But there's 613 mitzvahs. None of them have a second chance. Why all of a sudden here do we have a second chance for Pesach Sheni? Yeah. So. You're right. What? There's a punishment, and all of a sudden now we're nice to you. We say we could. You mean it's more? Let's say mila. There are other things that are kares. If somebody eats chelav, we don't say drink fish oil and purify your intestines. But
only mila is the only other asay with kares.
Right, it's true. So it's an asay and it's a kares, and mila you could just do whenever you get it. Right. So you mean any asay? Okay, it's an interesting thing. So they say like this: who are these people who were tamei, were not able to bring Pesach Rishon? So they were individuals who became tamei with Arona Shel Yosef. They were matapa with the bones of Yosef. Now, if you look in the pasuk, Moshe Rabbeinu says, "I don't know what to do." Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe v'nei Asinu v'Hashem chodesh Rishon leimar v'yasav b'nei Yisrael sapasach b'mayadai." So who are they approaching? Moshe and Aaron. And they say to him, what happened? They came before Moshe and Aaron, and they said not Alehem, but only to Moshe. Why are they only talking to Moshe? They should talk to both of them. So here's the taina. Taina is like this. They said, Moshe Rabbeinu, why did we leave Mitzrayim in the first place? Because Yosef said at the end of Parshas Bereshis and Parak Nun, Pakod Yifkod Elikim Estem V'Halisem Esatzmoisai Mizah. God's going to remember you, but you better take out my bones. Meaning, you're not leaving unless you take out my bones. The Yitzia was contingent upon taking out the bones of Yosef. And Moshe even told them, Ki hashbea hashbias b'nei Yisrael lemar pakod yifgad elikim eschem v'halisem es atzmai sayim mizeh. Moshe told them that Hashem's going to remember you, but we got to take out the bones of Yosef. And nobody wanted to take out the bones. Everybody's collecting the money. Everyone's taking the gold and the silver. And Moshe's the only one busy with atzmai Yosef. Comes Matan Torah. Now Moshe Rabbeinu, who touched the bones of Yosef, I guess he's tamei. Comes Matan Torah, and poof, Gershon is Gayer, Kekatan Shenoy Ladami, and Moshe is Tahar all of a sudden. But Moshe gave over Aron Shel Yosef to some other guys. Fine. Now it comes the Karban Pesach, and they're watching Moshe Rabbeinu munching on the Karban Pesach. Moshe is eating lamb chops on the Karban Pesach, and they're sitting there and they can't eat the Karban Pesach. Why? Because Moshe gave them that Aron Shel Yosef. So their taina was, Lama Nigara, it's not fear. We only left Mitzrayim on condition we take out the bones. So how could it be, we're eating Karban Pesach to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim. Yitzias Mitzrayim was only possible because we took out Aron Shel Yosef. It's not fear that we who created Yitzias Mitzrayim should be the only ones who can't eat the Karban Pesach. The whole purpose of the Pesach is to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim. We made Yitzias Mitzrayim, and we're the ones, and you gave it to us. You, Moshe, made us take out the bones of Yosef, so that Klal Yisrael could leave Mitzrayim. It's not fear. Vayoimru Elav, they said to Moshe, not Aaron. They have no tinus on Aaron. Aaron had nothing to do with Yitzias Mitzrayim. So that's how the Meshech Chochmah reads the episode of Pesach Sheni. Is a tinus specifically about Moshe giving them Aron Shel Yosef. Okay, that's the end of the first year. It gets better.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.